Hey friends, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, back for another video. I think this is number,
One more than last time.
okay,
135.
135. He brought me water instead of coffee. I've already had 2 cups of coffee, so that's probably enough. Although I may have a 3rd cup later. So today is December 17th. Not sure when you'll see this, but hopefully before Christmas, because Christmas Eve is 1 week from today. So for those of us who celebrate Christmas, the countdown is on. It's almost here. I have all my shopping done, but not everything has arrived. So hoping it all gets here, gets wrapped, and gets under the tree. So anyway, so I'm really hoping this isn't a very long video, because I know all of you have stuff to get done and I have stuff to get done. So we'll just go with it. So first I'm going to show you my stitching, what I've been working on, and then I'm going to show you pieces that I've done in the past that are framed. And it would not be a usual video of mine if I didn't show you things that are stitched but not framed. So got all of that to come. So what have I been stitching? Well, after my video last time, I showed you, during the video, I showed you this one. This is called This Joyous Season by Plum Street. It's beautiful. Now it does have a flag on there that it says it's the Union Jack, which I thought that was Britain, but then it says see Australian flag diagram for easy reading. So, but I don't believe I'm going to put a flag on there. Obviously, I'm not going to put this flag, but I thought about putting the American flag because it does give you a chart for the American flag. But to me, this is all Christmas, so I don't think I'm going to put a flag. So last time that I showed this to you, I had just done a little bit of the border and the R for Repeat the Sounding Joy. It's not finished, obviously. That whole bottom area is full coverage, and I need to do that. There's lots of snowflakes left. And I think where that flag would go, which was right in here, I think I'm going to put another one of these. It has these bigger snowflakes. They're kind of hard to see, but here's one right here. See that? I think that's what I'm going to put in place of the flag. We'll see. I'm getting close. I definitely want to get this finished. So This Joyous Season by Plum Street. And I still need to fill in the basket and the windows, inside the windows. So I know I need to do that. And then the bottom area. This is on 46 count Up in the Attic by Plum Street. By Fox and Rabbit. And so some of the things I'm going to show you are on 40, some are on 30. One is on 36 and this one's on 46. So it's a little slower going because I stitch in hand, and so I go in for like a scoop to make the stitch. So obviously 46, it's a little smaller scoop. So sometimes it can be a little slower. But I love this. I worked a lot on this, and I'm happy with my progress. And this is, let me see here. Yep. These are the threads. There's some DMC and some weeks. I have that beautiful floss ring and floss drop. My friend Patty makes all these beautiful floss rings. I love the bronze kind of color. So that is This Joyous Season. The next thing was a new start. This one is Christmas Rose by Blackbird. There's 4 in this series. This is the fourth in our Christmas sampler series. Now it does have that specialty stitch, which is a 4-sided stitch. I probably will put my own initials. And then for the year, I'll probably put whenever year I finish. Hopefully this year. And you'll be shocked at how small this is. So this is Blackbird, Christmas Rose. Just so Sherry Dodds, she just finished this one. If you don't watch her, you should. But look how small it is. It's really teeny. Like, here's my hand. So that's where I am on this one. Obviously, I have a lot to do. Don't ask me why I just did a bird down there. I don't know. Part of a bird. This is on 40 Count Wren by Picture This Plus. And I picked an area of the wren that was lighter. So this really does not almost look like wren. You see some of the darker area down here, but for the most part, it doesn't really. It's a lighter version of wren, is what I'm trying to say. Very fun. I want to finish that one. And all four of those, 40 Count Wren. All four of those Christmas ones, I've done one. I think the other one I did was just called Merry Christmas. It's one I'll show you a little bit later. But when I kitted all four of those, these are the threads for all four of those. I didn't get them out. I didn't get out any Blackbird patterns, so forgive me. But I did get that Christmas Rose one out. But the others the one I did and the other two in the series, I didn't get out the charts. But these are the threads for all of them. I want to say very Blackbird, but one of them in the series has some pretty bright colors. It has some purple, some orange, so they're not all the muted colors that Blackbird usually does. Anyway, and that's just on a plain ring. Nothing fancy about that. The next one is, so that was a new start. The next one is also a new start. This is by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. This is Light of Winter. The Light of Winter. I think this was originally said to be a companion piece to Winter Rose Manor, which I've done and is framed. I'll show you that later. And I think, I don't know why. Because to me, there's not a lot of the sameness. But anyway, Winter Rose Manor came up first, and then this one, The Light of Winter. Maybe because they both have the word winter. I don't know. Anyway, this is a very intense border. And I know a lot of people are like, ugh, I don't like to do borders. But this border is almost like just plain fun. It's like a windy road that you just like take windy road, and then you see a turnoff and you think, oh, I'll try this. You drive around there and you think, oh, that's a dead end, so I'll come back to the main windy road, and then, oh, here's another turnoff. That's how this border is. I'm anxious to get this one finished too. Light of Winter. This is on a piece of, this is actually 36 count. I had it kitted, and this was in the, well, maybe I didn't have it kitted. Anyway, I had a piece of 36 count Winter Brew by R&R, so I decided to use it. So here I got one side of the border finished. This is on a fat quarter, so I haven't trimmed it down yet, but here's the details of that border. See what I mean? Windy roads, turnoffs. And then here's the bottom part of it. So that side of the border is completely done. Usually I do a whole border, but I really wanted to add color because I love this piece, and I thought, oh, I want to add some of the flowers. And so anyway, it comes out to be about 10 by 10, the stitching part of it. So instead of doing the whole border, I decided I'm just going to add the color in. It is so pretty. It's just beautiful. I love it. And I definitely want to get these 5 that I'm showing you that I've started and whips. I really would love to get them all done before the end of the year, but that may be a little bit too optimistic, but we'll see. So here are the threads, and I told you I'm doing that on 36 count winter brew. This is weeks. There's one gentle art and then DMC. So here's your colors for that. And that's another floss drop that my friend Patty makes. I love the little snowman and the little bulb. So cute. Love that one. The next one that I worked on was Dasher and Dancer. All of these are really things I've started this year. I don't think I had any whips, Christmas whips, that I carried over. There might have been a small, I don't know, or 2, but as far as pieces that I want to frame. So this is Dasher and Dancer. This is by Hobby House Press. It's done in red, but I bought the Country Sampler kit, so mine is on green. And I'm not going to share the colors because Country Sampler conversions are exclusive to them. So last time I think I had the tree almost finished, but I finished the trunk of the tree and one of these reindeer. There's another reindeer on the other side. So when I get back to it, I'll do the other reindeer. So when I get back to it, I'll do the other reindeer. And then I'm going to start filling in some of these Quaker motifs. I could start this from the tree over and then from the tree over as far as the bottom. I haven't thought that far ahead. So anyway, Dasher and Dancer. It is done with green. If you want the kit, call Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin. I like it a lot. The next one is a little quandary. That's like my daughter's favorite word. She'll say, "Mom, I have a quandary. I need to be in 2 places at once. Can you help me pick up this child or take this child somewhere?" She's always saying, "I have a quandary." So I have a quandary. I love this piece. This is Quaker Christmas stocking and sampler. This is by Kathy Barrick. I love the stocking, but when I saw the framed piece on Country Sampler's website, I thought, oh, that's what I want to do. A nice, long, skinny piece. It does say Merry Christmas, but I think I would leave this out all year. I don't know, maybe. A lot of people ask what I do with all these framed pieces when it's like Easter or 4th of July or whatever. They're all in my hallway. And the hallway's full. So at some point I need to maybe take over another part of a hallway. I don't know. But I enjoy being able to look at them even if it's out of season. So anyway. Well, when this was available, I don't know if this came out in 24 or 23. But when this was available, I think I got the threads last year before Christmas, and I didn't start on it. But Hillside Rookery, Olivia, she carries a lot of NPIs, which is what this is charted for. So she had a sale or something on them, so I bought the NPIs for this. Now, this looks like it's done on a kind of a warm tone of linen, and I think the called for is wheat by Fiber on Whim, which is a real golden kind of color. But I decided I had this piece of saltbush that I decided I wanted to use, and it's folded, so it's a big piece. This arrangement of it is only like 4.5. The stitching's only like 4.5 inches, and this is an 8-inch piece wide, so I have plenty. So when I was stitching on this, and here's the colors, the NPIs. So this is 40 Count Saltbush by Fox and Rabbit. And they're very cool tones. So I was like, oh, this is going to be gorgeous. Well, let me just show you. And keep in mind, I always try to remember that when you're sitting under your lighting, whether it's a daylight light or whether it's kind of not fluorescent, but you know what I mean, kind of a different greenish light, things are going to look different than they look when it's out in the wild. So this is one of the main colors. Now it looks very blue there, but it's pretty bright for me. But I thought, okay, this is what they called for. Now, on the picture, it looks like it's navy-ish. Hold on here. These threads are trying to escape. Looks kind of navy-ish, the Merry Christmas. So, but I stitched it, and I really like it. I think it's going to be beautiful. I like it. It's brighter than most things I've stitched for Christmas. It's kind of jaguar colors, which are tealish. Jaguars being the Jacksonville NFL team, which is doing very, very well. So that's all I say about that. Anyway, when I did it, I thought, okay, I'm just going to stitch this word, evaluate. But I think I'm going to keep going with those colors. I think I like them. And here's the rest of them. There's a really olivey green. There's a gold. Of course, there's black around the swan. There's this white-ish, which I think, I mean, it's cream, but it'll go good on that salt bush. There's a brown. So there's only a couple, oh, and then there's 2 lighter blues and a darker green. So it's only that, and then a darker green. It's only that one color that's kind of bright, and I think it's going to be okay. So that's what I've been stitching on. That's it. That's enough. I'm probably going to put away most of my other Christmas pieces that I've gotten out thinking, oh, maybe I'll stitch this. This is like white. What is the deal? I need to hide that. Looks like I have a cotton ball by the side of my head. Kind of do. But anyway. So I think I'm just going to concentrate till the end of the year on these. And I also think I might, I know a lot of people use like the 13th for spooky stitching every month. I may do the 25th. Or the 24th and 25th. I don't know. Because I really like to have these done by next year. And if I just put them away as whips, I won't touch them until next year. And then I'll be in the same quandary that I'm in now. Trying to get them done in a few weeks. So anyway. The next thing I want to show you. Many of you may have heard of the name of Gloria Parsons. Now Gloria owned a shop here in Jacksonville called the Old Green Cupboard. I worked there really from the time it opened. It was open about 8 or 10 years. And it was it was the size of a small grocery store. It was huge. She had thousands and thousands of bolts of fabric. She had classes, which I taught. She had long arm quilting. The whole front of the store was antiques and collectibles. We were in one of the top 10 quilt shops in the Quilt Sampler magazine, which is Better Homes and Gardens. Anyway, years ago. So it was a fabulous, fabulous shop. And those of us who worked there just were so sad when it closed. I knew Suzanaki Yard Girl prior to working there, but then she also started working there. So that really, we got to know each other a lot better. And that's when we became really good friends. So anyway, Gloria Parsons owned the store. Her twin sister, Vicki, worked there. Now, also, Gloria recently has worked at Primitive Gatherings in Wisconsin. She worked up there for a few years. Now she's back in Jacksonville. She also has an Etsy store where she sells a lot of her own wool designs. Plus, she does the model stitching for a lot of Teresa Kogut's wool pieces. Enough said. She's very talented. So a lot of us that worked at the cupboard or were affiliated with the cupboard or shopped at the cupboard meet on Thursdays at the local quilt shop. No relation to Gloria's quilt shop. But anyway, so as a gift to like 8 or 10 of us that work there, Gloria decided she would give us a kit, and I'll show you it in a minute, and that we would work on it for 2 Thursdays, because we meet on Thursdays. So we worked on it last Thursday, and then we're going to work on it again tomorrow. The 18th is Thursday. Now, keep in mind, I knew I was going to be doing a video, so I was doing a lot of stitching to kind of get ready for my video. So I did not get my homework done. I'm admitting it up front. I did not get my homework done. But she kitted and gifted these to us, which was unbelievably generous. So here's the design. It's a wool piece, and it's named Friends. And she gave us everything. She gave us the Heat and Bond light. She gave us all the wool pieces. She gave us the piece to do the garland. She gave us the bells, everything. So we all worked on drawing and cutting out. And most of them are doing the blanket stitch in Valdani. I pulled some DMC to do mine. I'm going to hold this up on my wool pressing mat so that you can get an idea. So here is what I have. I haven't done any of the blanket stitch. That was my homework. Like I said, I'm behind. But she showed us some really cool tips on how to... Now this is wool applique that's been fused. Maggie Bonomi does wool applique, but it's not fused. So it's just 2 different methods. Don't look too closely. Some of my pieces are a little askew. Oops. And then this is the piece of wool that'll go on the back because eventually we cut it out. Anyway, so the little piece, that you see around here, and then that gets blanket stitched to that darker gray wool piece. Pretty fun, huh? Yeah. Pretty generous. Yes, very generous. And I think she's considering doing, or has already planned it, to do a wool block of the month through Etsy, where you could get patterns and or kits. I'm not sure about kits, but definitely patterns of hers that she's going to do through the next year. So Old Green Cupboard, no E on old. When the store opened, it was old with an E for OLDE, Green Cupboard. But I think her Etsy store does not have the E on old. But anyway, I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm just going to go flash through all of these pieces that I want to show you, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. The first few I'm going to show you are Blackbird. I did not get out the patterns for these, but I do know the names of most of them. You've seen this many times. This is Christmas Garden. Mine is huge because I did it on the called for, which may have been 30 count. But I love it. A lot of people have changed. This is a very warm palette. The colors that were used in the called for were wonderful, but very muted and very warm palette. And I love it. I chose to use, I started with my grandmother's name, initials, my mom's, my sister's, mine, and my daughter's. This is before Camille was born. Camille's 10. I don't even think my daughter was pregnant. So I probably did this, Camille was born 2015. I probably did this somewhere around 2013, maybe. So I wasn't even stitching on 40 count back then. So it's huge. The next one, now this is a loose feathers and this is out of print. I've seen people say this is like hundreds of dollars on eBay. Maybe at some point Alma will release it. It's And to All a Good Night. And it was very fun. Again, I don't know what count I used, but probably 36 at the highest count. It's very fun. I love the size of it. So, And to All a Good Night. The next one is called Merry Christmas, Ella Vaughn. And mine says Merry Christmas, Laura Fields. This was my mother's father's mother. So this was on a piece of green linen. I'm not sure what count this was. It looks like 36. It could have been 32 because it may have had 2 strands. Kind of looks like 2 strands. Merry Christmas, Ella Vaughn. I framed this myself. My husband made the frame and I laced it. Not great, but my lacing, I just don't tend to get it as tight as I like it to be. Anyway. This was made by my friend Ruth as a gift. This is Evergreen. Again, a loose feathers that's out of print, I believe. But a beautiful Christmas. And she put her initials and she put my initials. Very sweet. And she had it framed at Hobby Lobby. So, Evergreen by Blackbird. This is Bells on Christmas Day. This is on, I believe, Ale. Maybe Oaken. I think it's on Oaken. Bells on Christmas Day. It's in the same book, that's named Bells on Christmas Day. I always want to call it Peace on Earth because that's what it says, but I think Sean Periwinkle Stitcher just finished that one. This is one of those 4 that are in the same series as Christmas Rose. I think this one's just called Merry Christmas, and I did this one. It says 2025, so I must have finished it during the first part of this year. But I know I started it last year. Love it. Those are pieces that need to be framed. And now I'm just going to go quickly. There are some that need to be framed. Would it be a video of mine if I didn't show you something that needed to be framed? Probably not. Oh, the cotton ball's coming out. I finished this one this year. Winter Moon. I'm not taking all these out of the plastic. I'll try to hold them so that the glare isn't too bad. Winter Moon by Plum Street. Really pretty. If you haven't done this one, you should. It's gorgeous. I have all of the moons kitted, so I'd really like to. I might even pick one of those as my blessing sampler. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to stitch in January. I've done that for years. I've tried to do an entire piece during the month of January, and some of them I've gone over into February, but it's okay. Mostly I've done reproduction samplers, but that's another topic for another day. I might, I don't know, we'll see. I might come back after Christmas, during that week between Christmas and New Year's, and talk about the pieces that I want to maybe do for my choices for a blessing sampler. This is Gathering the Greens by Stacy Nash. If you're curious what I used as far as linen, let me know. Most of them I probably used the called for. I know Winter Moon was on Saltbush. This is on 36 count Confederate Gray. Love this piece. Gathering the Greens by Stacy Nash. This next one, I think I showed you last time because I just finished it. Paper Snowflakes by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. Sorry, a lot of glare. So cute. A lot of snowflakes in that. This one I showed you last time too, Red and Green Carnation Sampler. This was a Schoolgirl Sampler Society Club from Country Sampler. Not specifically Christmas, but red and green, so why not? I don't want to show it to you upside down. Again, I showed you this one last time. So that's one of my finishes from this year. Okay, well now we're going to do framed pieces. This is Crinkle and Woolard by Plum Street. I absolutely love this sheep. Lamb, ewe, whatever. He's adorable. This one was a gift. This was given to me by Suzanaki Yard Girl. This is actually a freebie on Plum Street, her blog. If you'll Google Plum Street freebies blog, there's a lot of freebies that she's done. But I love this one. Emmanuel, God with us. This is by Samplers Not Forgotten. Christmas in My Heart. I kind of got stalled on this one for a while, and this is a conversion from Country Sampler, so my colors are not the called for. Another one that I laced myself, so it's not great. But I love that big gray house. I don't know why I got stalled on it. It's a little, looks like the letters kind of go, just get up there. I just don't do a great job, but I'm cheaper than anybody else, so. The next one is Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais. Everybody was doing this for a while. Everybody changed the snow from yellow and the house from pink or peach, whatever. I think I did change the snow color. Because when I first went to college in Iowa, at Iowa State, it was a saying, don't eat yellow snow. You can figure that out if you want. Not that I was tempted to. So this is Winter Rose Manor. Again, one I framed myself. Got the frame from Hobby Lobby. Love this one. This is a very favorite one. You know, sometimes there's elements that kind of ghost. I mean, I don't want the whole thing to ghost, but I'm okay with some elements kind of ghosting. I think it gives it a little bit of dimension. You know, you have to look a little closer at the piece. Not that I stop in the hallway and gaze at my stitching, but I just think that there's parts of it that it's like, okay, like the basket on top of the house. Unless you look really closely, you know, you don't necessarily see all that. But somehow I just love it. I love that cardinal. Oh, love it. This is all bundled up by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. I love him. Another cardinal on his head. I was watching someone and they were saying how cardinals are the thing this year. We have cardinals on our tree. We've had cardinals on our tree for years. In fact, they're starting to get a little bit ratty. But every year I put them away and think, okay, you got to last one more year. This is all bundled up. I love these pieces like this. This one I framed myself. Again, laced. She has a number of these. I've also done, I think I showed it to the cat that's green. There's also a bunny that I'd like to do. But these ones where it's just a headshot, I think they're so cool. The only thing with them, you have to frame right up to the stitching, because if you don't, it's gonna look like he's chopped off. You have to make it seem like you're just seeing part of him rather than. This is probably one of the oldest pieces that I have and that I still display. This is A Child is Love. Folk Art Designs by Laura Conley. Let me see if there's a date in here, because this is almost as old as I am. Well, the original sampler says 84, 85. A Boy and His Dog. This is what I've done. And this one was done on Ada, probably 14 count. And I dated it 1987. I'm going to take another short break and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, ready to continue. The next two are a couple pieces that really aren't Christmas, but because they're red and green, I like to include them. This is Francis Poole by Brenda Gervais. It is a reproduction, antique reproduction, Brenda Gervais, Francis Poole. Love this piece. Just got a lot of red and green, so to me, and I'm not sure why I framed it, or I had it framed with a green frame. Some of these I had framed at the Old Mill Stitchery in Liberty, Missouri. I didn't live there. I just would send them pieces, or I'd pick them out while I was there at like a retreat. I'd pick out the frames and then they'd mail them to me. This one is by Scarlet House. Again, not really Christmas, but to me it reads Christmas because of all the red and green. Mary Betchel by the Scarlet House. I love this piece. I love it, love it, love it. I love if you look really close here, this is, oops, hitting my chandelier. This is like checkerboard red and green, the grass underneath those. Love these pots. It's got a lot of red and green, and it's really pretty. The other one that I haven't mentioned, oh, maybe I did. I took it down. The Noel sampler. Oh, it's coming up. Look where you're going, Carol. You might drive straighter. The Noel sampler by Brenda Gervais. I did this one years ago. This was one of the first pieces I did on 40 count. And it's kind of got a revived interest because a lot of people I've seen are stitching this. It's classic. It's gorgeous. And I know Country Sampler, I think, did a conversion on like a gray linen, which is also beautiful. I did mine in 2015, so 10 years ago. And again, green's not even my favorite color, but I think it sort of works. With the red house, I think it's gorgeous. Running out of space here, lest they all topple. A couple more and then I'm going to let you go. I know everybody has lots to do. This is, again, one of my very favorites. This is a Yuletide Welcome by Plum Street. This one, this work wrought by me, Paula Stewart, I did I did chart my own initials. And this one I did in 2017. Love that gold house. The only thing I'm kind of sad about is my variegated thread right here on the roof had a real light portion. So you can see it kind of looks like it's got a stain or something, but it doesn't. But that's the beauty of variegated threads. So this Yuletide Welcome. The next one I did in the last few years, this is a Kathy Barrick piece, And Heaven and Nature Sing. And I think it was at the Jingle Ball. I did go to the Jingle Ball. I didn't date. I didn't date. I bought a few PDFs, but I haven't printed them, so the stocking by Teresa Kogut was fabulous. Stacy Nash said her skunk would be released right after, so I didn't get it. I can't remember what else I did get. But anyway, my point was, I think it was when Liz Matthews and Kathy Barrick were talking, and or whoever was questioning him said, what was your, I think she said favorite stitch, and then what was your best-selling stitch? And I think Kathy Barrick said this was one of her all-time best-selling stitches. And Heaven Nature Sing, again, I framed and laced it myself. Frame from Hobby Lobby. I love this piece. I love this piece. I especially love pieces that have parts of Christmas hymns. Heaven and Nature Sing, and then also that other one that is Rejoice with All Joy. The first one I showed you. Anyway, I love that. It makes you want to start singing, which I'm not going to do because I like y'all. This is by Chessie and Me, Peace and Goodwill sampler. Oops. Now this one is supposed to have a lot of over one on it. Cherish peace and goodwill for, I don't know what it says. It's supposed to be over one. I didn't do that. I'll do over one on a reproduction sampler, but I'm not going to do it on a little Christmas piece. So again, framed myself. My husband did the backing on this one. Anyway, Peace. Let's see, what's it called again? Peace and Goodwill Sampler. So I just put peace and goodwill. So pretty. So, so, so pretty. And the last one I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to let you go, is Christmas at Hollyberry Farm. This is it upside down? No. This is by Stacy Nash. This is another one that I did a long time ago, but kind of has a renewed interest, and I've seen a lot of people stitching this one recently. Christmas at Hollyberry Farm. And I love this border. And there are a few other pieces of Stacy's that have this kind of fern-looking border. This also was probably done, well, maybe it is like 36. I don't know. It seems really large compared to some people's pieces that I've seen that are like 40. And I did one strand, so I'm saying it's probably 36. And it's done on mink by R&R. I know that. I came across a piece of mink the other day in my R&R linens, and it was cut off from this. So that is all I have to show you. And I hope you're all doing well. I hope that this Christmas is special to you, and I hope that beyond the Santa Claus and the tree trimmings and the food and all that, that you will remember that it's the birth of our Savior who came on a rescue mission for us so that we could be in right relationship with our Heavenly Father. And God's mercy is never ending. So I pray that even those of you who kind of celebrate Christmas in a secular way will also remember that it is the birth of Christ. So with that, I will say, have lots of joy. Don't eat too much. Enjoy your family or whatever. I know all around the world there's different traditions for Christmas, but in your own special way, I just hope that it's a very happy time for you. So with that, I'll say Merry Christmas and love you. Bye. Bye.